screen, I was showing you what we are going to do. So today our aim is to do something like this, create a form. These are called user forms. So aim is to create a user form with the that data validation in it, and we are going to try and introduce combo box, something that we've done, something that we can, change the list in our combo box, how we will do that. Once we give the value in the combo box, and we may have combo box with 2 columns. So if we set pick up all the values and we enter, then we should be able to get this kind of output. Output would be required in your Excel sheet so that you can further use for your Excel work or you're using for your VBA work. So how to get this output, how to create these forms, that's the main idea. All right. So what we're going to start off today is called a user form. So what are user forms? Basically, like I told you, anything and everything that pop up on your screens when you're working in Excel, this is a user form. So how do you go about...
Hi everyone.
Hi. So how do you go about creating these user forms? Like there are tabs. For each tab, there's a design that is going on, and then you pass on the controls to everything. So when you're working with user forms, things from your past that will come back is form controls, because all the form controls that you were making on Excel, now you will be making in the backend, and events. Do you guys remember events?
Yes, Ishani, yeah.
Right? So if you remember, I told you anything and everything you do in Excel is event based. And anything and everything you're going to do in user forms is also event based. Because as in when a person is taking an action, a response has to come. We are not going to run any codes with it. So let's get started and let's understand how we are going to get this user form. And aim is to create the one that I have created over here. So how do you insert a user form? In your workbook, you can click on insert, click on user form. Once you click on user form, you should be able to get this screen. This is the way we are going to create the user form. You can increase or decrease the size of the user form as per the design that you've thought of. So typically, I would always suggest that when you're creating a user form, have a design in the backend. Okay, how many text box do I need? How many option buttons? What are the combo box do I need? So that the design is already there when you're creating it. But as and when you're changing the design, you can keep on adding on to it. So user form, as soon as it opens, you see on the right, on my left hand side, there's something called a toolbox. You see this toolbox? Yes. This is exactly the same tools that you have used. You have used combo box, you have used a list box, you use a check box, you use option button, you used a spin button. So these things you already know of. You used a group box, which is called frame over here. So these are pretty much identical to what you have already done in form controls. However, in this case, we are going to we will have to code for it. It's not that when you select something, the output will directly go in Excel. You have to kind of code for it. You have to code for it. We have to, give a certain outlook to it. So very first thing we will do is, and another thing that you've never seen before is, like typically you are used to working with this window called the Project Explorer. And on the right, you were writing the codes. But today we are also going to work in the window called properties, which is very important specifically when you're working with your user forms. So what does your property window tells you? It'll give you a name, right? Typically, these names would be, if I insert 3 user form, it will be user form 1, user form 2, user form 3. If I insert a text box, it will go as text box 1, text box 2, text box 3. So that is not recommended to keep their names like this, because if you want to write a code, like I'll show you a sample that I prepared. So when you're using a code, let's say I had to give a value to the text box which has a phone number. So it becomes easier for me to refer to as text phone rather than saying text 3 or text box 4. That I won't remember what it was. So have the habit of naming your objects that you're drawing on over here with proper names that you can understand. So where do you change the name? Over here, the name is there and the name is user form 1. I can type it as Let's say Genpack form. Okay. Now, when I made this name as Genpack form, did it change the one on the top?
No.
It did. And why it didn't? Because this is the name of the object. Now, if I have to refer to this form, I have to call it Genpack form. But what this is basically the caption of this user form. So if you scroll down, you will see caption 1, user form, and you can give like whatever you type in over here. Now automatically you will see it changes on the top, like information. If I run this thing, this user form is now showing up. The header is called information. So far, so
Shani, can
good?
you
Yes,
please
Tanu.
repeat the last step once again?
Yes. So on the
Yeah.
top, typically it shows user 1, user 2 kind of a thing. So what this property is, this property is dot caption. So where can you change? We can change all these properties through coding also, but a very easy way to work with the properties this area. So we go to caption, which is over here, and we are going to name it as information. Got it?
Yes. Thanks.
Now, another thing that you notice, I have not kept my user form as gray. My user form, if you see over here, is black in color, right? And there are certain different colors to the text that is being dropped, the buttons that is being dropped. So how do you modify all these things? Again, they are coming from the properties. So after the name, you will see there is something called back color, which is nothing but a background color. So if I click over here, we will see that, okay, what are the various, type of colors available for us. So that's given over here. If you wanted to make it a blue form, or if you want to make it a black form, entirely up to you. And what else you can do is, this is coming from the system. System has fixed number of font depending on what your Windows setting is. But you can always go to the palette. So these are the colors that you have in the palette, but it's not that these are limited. You can also create few colors. So how I did this one, just to show you, if I click over here, the white spaces are the place where you can create new colors for the palette. So if you right click on it, it automatically opens this thing. I think we have already spoken about the RGB colors. So whichever color you want, you can put the RGB value of it and add that color and then use that particular color. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can pick and choose. I picked up from the system only, and I picked, I think, the menu text or the desktop, don't remember. Then if you want to put any border color to it, same thing, you can pick and choose and put a border color. I'm going to put this one. And then comes the 4 color. Now, what is this 4 color? 4 color is basically the elements that you will be dropping on the user form. What will be the text color for that? So I chose in mind a grayish color. So application work, I think this is what I've used as 4 color. So my basic designing of my user form is ready. So when I deploy it, you can click on it and then you press your F5. So this is how it's going to look now. So far, so good?
Yes, Shan.
For everyone? Naveen?
Yes.
Yes.
Vikar, Mohit?
Yes,
Lalit?
yes, it is. Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, what else do I have over here? I have this box, which is called a frame. And then I have labels, and these are called text box. So I'll just make the frame. I'll make one label, one text box. Then I'll ask you to make all the rest, all the name and phone number, all these text box. I'll tell you to get them ready. So going back, so how do we draw the frame? Frame, again, I need my controls. This is the frame, draw it. So these dot that you see over here, these will help you and guide you to make something which will be looking nice. And just like how we change the name of the user form, this is again a frame that got created. Instead of calling it frame 1, I will call it basic info. The rules is same, that you can't have spaces, so basic info. And still this is called frame 1, which is again done by the word caption, by the property of caption. And I can say info. Okay. Now let's create these labels. So this is label. Label will be kept in front of text box to show or tell the audience what is expected in the text box. So one thing is that you can click on it and you can create it. That's one way of doing it. Other way of doing it is you can drag the label over here and drop it, it gets created. Okay, so you can drag and drop. So for example, if I wanted to create 3, I can drag and drop 3 times. Or what I could have done is 1 second. Or what I could also do is copy and paste. So this way you can also create multiple labels. Either you can draw them again and again, or you can copy and paste them. Okay, now in front of the labels, I want text box. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is a text box. So I'm going to bring it in front, drop it, make it a little longer, and then copy paste. So can I ask everyone to finish till this part?
Yes, sure.
And when you're doing this, one more thing you will have to do, just like I've been changing name for everything, even these labels, because we are going to use all of it in the coding, labels and text box name also need to be changed. So you'll select the first label, then the first label, let's call it as label name, and caption will be name, right? And if you want to change the font, right, what you can do, again, we can go to the user form and you will see font is right now Tahuma. So you can click on the dots, you can change. I generally prefer Calibri, so change it to Calibri regular and made it, I think, 10. So you can change it over here, whatever you want. So accordingly, everything will get changed. Okay, once you've changed the properties of this is still Tahuma. So best is to change the font before you add anything on top of it, because I think afterwards it is going to be individually that you have to change. So let's do this thing. Let's get started. Insert a user form. How do you insert a user form? Go in the backend, insert user form. Once you've got it, change the properties, change the name, change the caption, change the colors, change the font. Once your step number 1 is done, then you will create the frame.
Sorry, Shivani, from where did you got that properties?
The properties window, again, go to view and you will get properties.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Excuse me. And don't worry too much about the alignment, even though I'm able to do with the dots that I am looking at, but there are easier way of aligning things. So don't worry too much on the alignment part. So name it as label name. One should be name. Let's put one as email and one as your phone number.
Chani, how can we get the toolbox?
The toolbox, if it's not appearing over here, go to again view and toolbox.
But it's still showing lock in my screen on toolbox.
It is showing. Are you in a user form?
Yes, yes. Okay,
And when
now
it's showing up. Okay, Lalit done.
Ishani done.
Done. Tanu and Lalit done. Who else? Saket also done. Naveen done. Abhishek also done. Shubham done.
Ishani done.
Done. All right. And once you select your user forms, right, when you're clicking outside, you will be selecting your user form. You can also play around with the look and feel of it. There is something called special effects. So right now it is on if special effect flat, but you can have it raised, edged, bumped. I think I kept it as raised. And then if I run it, this is how it's going to appear. So just select it and run it and see if it's coming out properly or not.
Ishan, can you
Sorry.
please tell again?
Which part?
Yeah, that's a special one.
The special
Special.
effect
So
one.
once you select your user form, right, you will be in the user form, Genpack user form. Then scroll down, you will reach some place called special effect. This one. These are all alphabetically placed. So keep on scrolling till you see S, and in that find special effect, and then I change it to effect raised.
Ishani, can you go up all the changes I need to see?
Changes that I'm making right now are the name, caption, mainly name and caption, and font. Oh, so let's put it down. Name, caption, font, background color, four color for the. Hold on, I'll make your life a little easier. So when you're working with the user form, what all you are going to work with, you will change the name, you will change the caption, you will change the font, the back color, you will change the fore color, and you will change the special effect. Okay. When you are working with your labels, and let's say frame, you will only change the name and caption. Because once you've applied a fore color, that works for all the elements that you're going to draw. And once you work with your text box, right, again, same thing, name and caption. Shweta, does this help?
Yes.
Ishani, when I double click one of the name of the field, it throws
The
me-
code starts.
Yeah, it throws me to the code field.
Yeah, so that's fine. Whenever you are going to double click on anything, it takes you to the code view. Now, when you're working in user form, you have two views, object view and code view. So now you're in code view. If you simply click on the top and close it, you'll come back. Or once you're in your form, when you right click, you get to toggle between view code and view object. So this is
Got it.
object, that is code.
If I simply have to go to view object, right?
View
Okay,
object.
got it.
Okay, should we move on, guys? Amit, are we done? Ankita, Deepika.
Ishani, I have one issue. So first, when I do it, like when I copy the text box, the first one is coming in white, but other two are like, they are not following the same. So can I share my screen for a minute? I don't know what's the issue.
Sure.
And Ishani, I was done. I confirmed that. Deepika.
Okay, all right.
I've done Ishani, but I forgot to do the frame thing. So when I'm doing the frame, it's coming over the text. So how
okay,
to send
so-
it back?
I'll tell you. We can't send, but I'll tell you how to do. Hold on 1 second. This is again labels that you've put. You don't have to put labels now. You have to put a text box underneath email ID and this. So delete it. Delete this one. Oh, you have to change the name. I think you named them same. Just give some name and just give email one just to get rid of it.
Okay, on the top.
Now you try to delete it. Even select the label 3, you don't need that also. Delete. Okay. You need the text box, which you already created one on the top. Select that.
Oh, okay.
It's just I like to, now it's selected. Now it's going to create. That's okay. The reason I copy paste because then I don't, and you don't have to resize. Hold on. You don't have to resize also. That again, we can do it much easier than doing it. Just make another one.
Okay.
All right. So this is done.
Okay, I think I was making it as a label.
As a label. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome. Okay, now one thing is there, like I was, why I was telling Ankita that don't waste your energy. Even if, let's say, one text box was like this, another text box was like this, I can actually select all the objects that I want. And when you go to this format tab, you can go to the make same size. You can say, okay, what do you want to make same as a width and a height? And if it's the same thing, I try to make it as a both. Now what happened? It took the formatting of one of the bottom because that's a dominant one since I selected from the bottom. So if I select it from the top, right? So this is the dominant one. Now if I do a format and I say make them all same size, now everything will be same size as per the one on the top. Okay, you can also select this and say once you've selected, you will need this tool also today, which is for alignments. So where will you get this tool? In view, toolbars, and you will use user form. So we have edit and standard. Now today we're getting user form. When you click on user form, this alignment thing comes up where you can say, okay, align everything to the left. So they're all together. Same thing you can do over here. Select all of them together. And then align them to the, I'm pressing with the wrong key. Okay, and again, I can say align them to the left side. I can align these. And since I want the labels to be along with the text box, so again, I can select these two and I can say make it in the middle. So both of them are going to be again together. That's why I said don't worry too much about the alignments. So far, so good.
Hey, Shani, how to send the frame back?
Oh yeah, so for the frame, what you can do, since you have already, got the frame, so you pick up the user form, make it little longer, push your frame to one side so that you can see your group also.
Okay, okay. That is
Okay.
good.
And when your group and frame has different,
Mhm.
right, then select all the elements of the group and then push it back into the frame
All
and
right.
then resize it again.
Okay.
Sorry, Shani, why did you do that? This
Because what she has done, Sanjeet, was she created the boxes first and then she created a text box, the frame. So when
Okay.
she did that, the frame was overlapping the labels and the
Okay.
text box and she could not see it.
Okay.
Okay, next thing, what I've added, I'm just trying to put all the elements first and then we'll code for all of them together. So the email is there, phone number is there. Now for the city, I've put a combo box. Okay. So this is label and this is a combo box and these are called command buttons. So we'll put all of them over here. So again, I'm going to put a label. So I'm going to pick this either or, like I said, I would prefer to copy paste. So there's a size and everything remains the same. Place it over here. And I'm going to change the name. This is my city, so label city, and the caption inside is going to be also city. And now I want to create a combo box in front. This one is a combo box. Right after your text box is a combo box. Going to drop it, size it. And again, going to make sure that it is sized like the text box. So selecting format, make same height and width. As in when you're done, do let me know.
Ishani, once again, can you format that, please?
Which one, combo?
No, that format part. I missed that
Oh, how
last
to
line. Yeah.
make the same shape, shape and size for all.
Yes.
So select all, format, same size and width.
Oh, nice.
Ishani, done.
Thank you.
Done. Okay. So Sakit is now only observing. Kshitij is, I think, traveling, if I remember correctly.
Unfortunate. Bad timing.
Unfortunately. Don't worry, like it's not a very tedious thing. It just takes time in designing and all. But the codes, if you see, they are smaller codes. Pratibha, what about you? Tarun?
Done, Ishani.
All right. Yash?
About to do.
Imran, Dheeraj, Ashish, and Vikas. Vikash, they're not there today.
Shani doing.
Ashish is doing. Sandeep done. Just do one thing, even though if you got one or two labels, that's fine, because you will have to learn working of one of them and then you can, program for the rest of it also. So once you are done with this, let's make two command buttons. Where are the command buttons? These are called the command buttons, right below your label. And what is the role of the command button? Very similar to the buttons that you had in your form controls. Its work is exactly the same. So I'm going to drag, drop, copy, paste. So I've created two command buttons. Now again, I want to give a proper name and, to these command buttons. So one, if you look at my screen in my form, basically I'd called one as India and one as US. Change the font a little bit on these. So that's it. Now you know how to do it. So that's fine. So I'm selecting one. I'm just calling this command India. And the caption value, same part, caption I'm going to change to India. I'm going to command button 2, calling it as command US, and then changing the caption to US. Almost done with the design part.
Ishani, after completing this design part, as we can see that there are a lot of black space. Can we reduce it after it?
The black space.
Yeah.
This is design space. In design only what you want to reduce. So as in what black space at the bottom?
Yeah.
You can just
suppose
pull it
we
up.
have okay. Simply it
Pull
will
it-
work.
Yeah. This is a frame box I have moved, and I need to move the user form also. So once I move it up, and now if I run it, it's going to appear. So that black space is under your control. How much space you're giving and around your framework is what you're getting.
Okay.
I need it because I'm going to place, I think, 3 more things. So that's why it created it a little longer to begin with. Okay,
Shivani,
once
quick
this is
question.
just, yes.
Shivani,
Yes.
quick question. In the city, there is a drop down. So how do we insert the text under those drop
That we
down?
are going to do. That we have to
Oh, okay.
program for everything. Everything
Okay.
needs to be
Got it.
programmed.
Got
Okay,
it.
so how a value is going to be put in a text box, how we will retrieve that value, how we will do a validation on it, how we will control, like how you do press tab spacing, that we have to assign tab order, we have to assign the accelerators. So all that we'll do one by one. So I thought let's just finish the design, which I think takes more time. Coding goes relatively faster.
It's done. Yeah, done.
Is done. So let's stick to this part only today. I don't think so we'll be able to cover the next half today. But the more important thing is that if you understand today's session, because validation and some of the properties and what are events, how we use it, if that is clear today, tomorrow onwards, it's going to be relatively easy for us to work with. 2 command buttons again need to be added, because what I'm trying to do is we are saying, okay, put in this information. The city, do you want from India or do you want from USA? Based on that, like I'll run this thing. So if I put my information, I'll put, let's say Pratibha, and let's say pv@gmail.com. Then phone number, if I don't give a proper phone number, kinds of gives me an error, right? Should not have ended my program though. So it's still there. And if I give a proper 9903445566, then I come to city where I can say, okay, I want the US based cities, so it will give me that list. If I say I want India based cities, then it will give me that list. Then I can put in the role where I've picked up 2 columns. I'm telling is A1 is analyst, A2 is senior analyst, M1 is a manager. And once we click on add, it is going to get added to this sheet over here. And it keeps on adding to that particular sheet itself. Okay, so this is the end goal. And once it is in the sheet, then you can retrieve it and whatever you need to do with it, you can. All right.
Yeah.
So first thing is, definitely we are not going to run the code. We need add and we need cancel buttons also, because a person may fill in information and say add, or a person may be in between and say I don't want to add anything, I want to cancel it. So these 2 are also what? What are these?
Command
They are
button.
command buttons.
Command button.
Command
Option
buttons. Yes. So Gunjan, you can use it as an option box also, since that was another set of programming I had to teach. I will take up option box a little later. You could use this as an option box also. Today, since I was teaching command, so I thought I'll pick up with the command box. But yes, you can do either one of them. So over here again, let's put the command buttons, one for add and one for what is it?
Cancel.
Add and cancel.
Right. So select this. I'm going to again change the name over here. Where is captioned? You can say add to list. And similarly, going to make another button over here. comes so badly. I don't enjoy doing these things. And this is my command, cancel. Oh, if I can spell it correctly. Okay, so this part is done. Now, one by one, we will take it through what we need to do. First of all, we want to make sure, sorry, I want to do, hold on. So you see a lot of coding is there, but they're very tiny codings. It's not very big codings are there. So what we want to do is, first of all, we want to figure out how to run the user form or how to load the user form from the front end, right? So you already know how to create a button. Then I don't know who was showing the sheet where you saw very fancy icons and you were like, what is this? What is this? I forgot who was showing the sheet. So
Yeah,
VBA
that
can-
glass and rabbit.
so you can always go to icons, you can always go to pictures. You know how to pick icons from online and from the website. So if you pick an icon over here and whichever icon is more suitable, then you can pick that particular icon, insert the icon. Now, once you pick an icon from Excel, the beauty of it is that you can go to the graphic formats and you can do the formatting. So if I wanted to put it as a blue fill, some outline color or effect that you want to give, you can give that, right? So all these things you can do once it is ready. Then just like how we used a button in the last session, so we can right click and we can say we want to assign a macro to it. All right. Now, which macro are we going to assign to it? We have to write a macro by which we are loading the, what do you call, loading the
User form.
the user form. Okay. So how are you going to load the user form? So all this programming that you see in the back end, this is done through events. This is all event-based programming. Okay, everything is in event-based programming. So if you remember, when we were doing events, I had told you on the top there is general. And once we click down over here, we used to see workbooks and worksheet depending on where we were writing. And now if you see that we have so many things coming up over here, what are these? These are again the objects that we have created. So instead of workbook and worksheets, all the objects that you've created would come up over here. If I pick up any object, like for example, user form, what did I write? Example. So for example, user form. So there's a, on the right side, you will see there are events called activate, add control, click, initialize, key up, key, terminate, zoom. All these are the events that you can write with respect to the
Hello.
user form. Yes. Hello. What happened?
Sorry. By mistake.
Okay. All right. So you can initialize it. So what did I do? I said, okay, once it runs, initialize it and you can load it also. So wait, hold on. General. I've written all this so that I don't miss telling you anything. Okay. So we can load the user form, we can unload the user form and all those things. So how did we start off with it? Okay. So what is the name of our user form? It's called Genpack Basic Info. So if I click over here, we can use the user form, and in user form we will use, I'm going back again and again. This is called info. Okay, so I'm going to go to the code part, view code. So this is the code for it. This is called basic info click, but we are not clicking on it. These are other things that we have. What we want to do in this case, we don't want to do anything. Why am I stuck at the wrong place? What is this basic info? Hold on, I've changed the name so many times. Object, this is called, the frame is basic info. This is called Genpack box. Okay. So let's go over here. Okay, so we want to initialize it. And when you want to initialize it, let's say all I want to do is load it. Okay, so what you can say, instead of writing the name of, let's say, Genpack, and when you're writing, instead of writing everything by hand, you can use control and space. Once you get control and space and you type, start typing, you will see the names would come up in the list. So Genpack form dot, then all the things are coming up over here. No, it's not load me. So what this load me works, somehow the form dot load is not working. So if I say load me, what does me means? Wherever you're writing that particular form, it refers to. So if you write me, it refers to that particular form. And if you wanted to initialize something, like for example, in my form, this form that I've used, I've put the phone number so that everybody understands that you have to put a 10-digit phone number, and this is a format, right? Then what we can do, we can initialize the value of those boxes also. So how will you initialize the value of the box? So what is the box called? Like I said, it is called text, and then I can say it's a phone number dot value. And what is the value? The value I want to give is 999345678 So I'm initializing the value to this thing. Okay, now let's try to run it. Assign macro. Why do I feel?
Genpack form.
Hold on. Sample show. Oh, sorry. I'm putting in coding. So you have to put this in the module. To show it, you have to put it in the module. Okay, because this is just, you are not doing an event on the object, but you are just showing the form. So in the module, then fact show, and just write the name, give space and enter so that the name comes up. Dot show, this will just show the form. Okay, that is done in the module. So right click, that's why the name is not coming up. Assign macro and Genpack form show, and you can assign this macro to it. So anytime you are clicking on it, this particular module comes up. Now, if you remember, I had initialized the phone number to this. So when I'm showing this particular, what do you call, user form, so automatically the phone number text box in front of it is having this particular value, the sample value that I've given. Okay, so everyone, please create.
You're writing the event in user form.
Events are in user form, but this one I have written in a, to show the user form and to connect it to the front end, it has to be in a module, not a event.
Okay.
Because it's not an event now. Even I am getting confused, but it's not an event because you're clicking on the button. So you are dictating when it's running. So it's a normal sub.
Okay.
Right. So insert a module. In a module, give any name of the sub like you have always, and give your what do you call, the name of your form dot show. See if you are able to connect the button. Once you click on it, will it open or not? Done?
Ishani, can you tell me the shortcut to get that list? What space?
Oh, control in space.
Control space. Thank you.
What is the coding that you have mentioned? Genpact form. That is the name of the box, right?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the name of my user form, the whole entire
Okay.
user form. So if I go back to your object view, this particular user form, which is information, this is called Genpact form. So that's why I
Okay.
was telling you to give proper names over here. So if you have
Okay.
multiple forms that you're loading and loading and showing, that you need to refer to them with the names. So now instead of a worksheet and a range and a workbook, these become our objects. So I can have multiple combo boxes, multiple text boxes, multiple labels, and they are my objects.
Okay. And control in space will show me those lists, right?
Control in space, yes. So you put control in space. It used to work previously also. I did not make you focus on it, but I used to use it. So when you press control in space, it gives you the entire list. And as in when you keep on typing, it will keep you on giving you the list related to the characters that you've typed.
Okay.
Ishani, show the code
for the module.
For the user form.
Oh, this initialize part?
Yeah.
So object is what? Same concept. Object dot method object dot property, right? What is the object? Object is text phone because that's a text box of phone number. What you're doing, you're working with dot value and you're assigning a value to it.
Okay. Once you have written the sub in module, then what did you do?
Once you've written the sub in the module, all you have to do is once you have created this button or any icon,
okay.
Right click and assign the macro to it.
All right.
Yes, Ishani, it's working fine. It's showing up.
It's showing up. All right, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so that is done. We are showing the form. Now, like I said, if you go to the Genpact form and you go to the view code, the first code we are doing is we are trying to initialize. So if there is any value, initial value to any of the text boxes that you would like to give, then you can use this thing that user form underscore initialize. So again, how did we do it? So we know we are doing a programming for user form. So click on the drop down. Select the object for which you are trying to program. So user form. By default, it is giving me the first event, which is underscore click, but I don't want to work with click. I want to work with initialize. And whatever are the ones that are being created on the top, you can keep deleting them. In initialize, what I'm doing is I want to assign a value to the phone number. So dot value. And what is the value I want to assign? The phone number in this format. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10.
So Ishani, basically when we are updating the codes in Genpact form, we are actually changing the format of that form. But when we are working on module, we are actually using that as an object and performing an action on it, right?
No, so we are not going to work in a module. When you're working in a module, why we are working in a module? Because you are trying to connect this to a button. So when you are controlling things of when a code should run, it's not an event, right? It's a normal because you are controlling it. So you can't write in the place where events are written. Okay, so that's why we are making a module and running from there.
So basically in module we are typing just to show up that box. right?
Exactly. Only thing I've written in the entire module is just to show it up. Now, once it's up, whatever control we are going to do is from the user form code sheet.
And things like entering a wrong number will show a blank. If I do a tab, is going to be done in a Genpact form. In the
Yes,
form.
yes. All right.
Ishani, in
So-
user form, our first option was to take the name from the user.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
here we are validating the phone number.
We are not validating the phone number. So,
mean,
so what happens, remember, when you go online and you're filling up some forms or you're filling up some information, there are some certain fields where some default values are already kept. Right? Some are blank, some default values are kept. So this is the way of putting a default value into it. Load, initialize and unload means what you are doing in loading is you are showing up you can load and you can show, you're loading it in Excel. Even if you don't load, and if you say .show, it kinds of loads it for us. Initializing means as soon as it opens up, as soon as it shows, initialize some values to your the components of your user form. Okay, and unload will basically close down your user form. So that is the difference between load, unload, and initialize. Loading is when you show you've loaded it. When you're clicking on the cross, you're terminating and unloading it. Okay, and when you say initialize, as soon as it opens, what are the values we need to give? Yes.
I just want to ask that our first insert box was a name. So first we need to assign a macro or a coding program for that one only. Then why we are, using this number? That's why.
I didn't understand. Repeat the question once again.
I just want to say that in the user form, our first option was to take a name from the user.
So we are not taking anything right now. See, what user form is not over here. We don't have to write programming to take in anything. I can type in.
Okay.
Okay, I can sit and type. I can start typing in these things. That's not a problem. It's a text box. It's supposed to take a text from me. But what I'm doing in a phone number, like I was telling you was that we are trying to give a default value so that the person understands. Because if I had to get a phone number like +91 and a number, right? So if I give a default value, it's easier for the person to recognize the format.
Is it for only those options which have default value like phone number and email
absolutely.
ID?
Absolutely. These are only for those values.
So in this, this means we have to assign for the email ID as well, that it should be @ and some domain name.
You can. So I have, even if you look at the form I created, I have not given, if you skip the name. So I have given this kind of, error message can't be blank, but I've not done the same for others. So as an example, I'm only taking one of it. But yes, whatever is applicable to one text field is applicable to all.
Okay.
Ishani, a very basic question. We are writing all this coding in each and every text box and all, right? Then we are linking with model 1, because I'm really getting confused. So
no, one thing is that, see what happens. For example, you want to do anything with this text box. Okay.
Yes, right.
So the way to work with the text box is you double click on the text box. What it does, it takes you to the event. So I'll take your text box because mine is already filled. So for example, this is the new object that I created. Now I want to do anything with this text box, I have to double click on it. As soon as I double click on it, it takes me to the code sheet. And in code sheet, for example, there's a text called text name change. Now these are events. What does it mean? Whenever there is a change in the text box, what does change means? Let's say if I enter a value,
that's
right?
Yes.
Or if I delete a value, or I change, edit the value, all that are changed. So whenever this change event is happening, that code will run. So how do you control these controls that you have put on a user form is through these events.
Okay, and that all the control part we will be doing in module.
Not in the module, on your user form code sheet. because these control text name change. Think about it. Let's say I've got two forms running right now, one in example one and in Genpact form, right? I have a text name in example one also. I have a text name in Genpact form also, correct? So how will it know which text name I'm talking about?
That user form we have text
So
divided.
basically in the code sheet of that user form, when you write, automatically it is meant for the form in which you're writing. So when it's looking for this name called text name, it will be looking in Genpact form. Okay.
Yes, understood.
All right. So once this initialization is done, now let's see quickly the codes. There are a lot of codes. Let's go up. So if I want to terminate the form, when I click on stop and I want to terminate the form, then what I want the user form to do. So what I have done is I have said, okay, let's activate the sheet. Okay, so there are various sheets also over here. You see sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So what I did, I selected this sheet. Since now I have the property window, I have named this sheet also as WQS menu. Okay, so I've named this sheet as WKS menu. So it is the same thing that you've done before. Worksheets, the name of the worksheet dot activate. But instead of writing worksheet, the name of the worksheet, now in the property, since I've changed this name, I'm just using the worksheet dot activate. What this is doing is it's activating this sheet over here. Okay, so why this is happening? Let's say if I click over here, let's say I'm typing some value. I'm giving a city. Hold on. I am picking this, I pick this, and I click on add. As soon as, no, I want to terminate it. Hold on. So if I add, let's say I would put this, right? Now I want to terminate. Terminate means what I'm doing is crossing it off. Once I cross it off, what it is doing, it is bringing me back to the menu sheet. How is it bringing me back to the menu sheet? Because the code is written like that. The code is written to activate that particular sheet. Now you may change the name of the sheet, you may not, it's entirely up to you. You can simply say name of the worksheet dot activate and unload me. Unload me means stop. Is this clear? So just to make it easier, let's say if I'm going to put it in this code sheet over here. So the name of this, again, user form terminate remains the same. Let's say even instead of saying, but we are in the same sheet, I should have used a separate sheet. Hold on. Tomorrow I'll change the workbook only. So cut it, paste it. Okay, so let's say whenever it terminates, it has to come to Genpact underscore menu. So we can go back, Genpact form. We are sitting in the code. And where do we want to go? I'll keep it simple. Worksheets, name of the worksheet, Genpact, menu, and quotes close, dot activate and unload me. So whenever you use this keyword called me is a keyword, automatically it refers to Genpact form. So I could have written unload Genpact form, or I can write unload me. That's it. This part is clear.
Yes.
So this
So
will
we need to write both the statements or just any of
so
them?
one, no.
Okay,
This
okay.
on the top.
Once.
So this is activating the main sheet.
Yeah.
And one is closing the form. Okay, many sheet.
Ishani, if we don't write this code and a user click on the cross, so what will happen?
So like, in between my program, if you saw my user form, in between the user form, I end up in this list area, not this, the source area. I end up over here. So if I'm crossing, I'll be sitting in my source sheet.
Okay.
But what we are saying is that a person, let's say we are populating a list or we're getting an output. So our
Okay.
main controls, what output they're putting in which part of Excel, that should not be visible to the end user, right? End user still needs to stick to the user interface sheet.
Mhm.
So you need to make sure anybody is closing the form, you're still in that same sheet where your user interface is.
Okay.
Okay.
So that this code is simply to throw the user to the initial sheet that he was working
Yes,
on.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. One more code I'll just cover and then I'll stop bothering you guys because adding will take a little bit time. So now let's say if we are on the cancel button, then everything, let's a person clicks on add, something should happen. Person clicks on cancel, something should happen. So how do we code for that? So for example, what we are doing when a person clicks on a cancel button, and this cancel button is what? It's the name of your button. So what we are doing, whatever is the name of the user form, we are hiding it. Okay. And because we don't want it to be there now, we want to hide it and we want to activate again the sheet where the user form, with the user interfaces. Simple. So just to reduce on time, or no, I should not because I might mess up the names then. So what we are doing is now we are going to go over here on the top. Which object do we want to work with? We want to work with the command button. So it's called command cancel. And for command cancel, I want to work with click. So once someone clicks on this command cancel, then what should happen? Then what do we want? We want to hide our user form, which is genpack form dot hide. And once this is done, again, what I want to do is activate the user interface sheet. Right? Initially, if this code is not there and we go back and we run, right? Now, if I press cancel, is anything happening? Nothing is happening. Why? Because there's no programming attached to it. Once we are clicking on it, it is taking us back. And if I put this code where I'm hiding it and I'm taking it back to a particular sheet, now if I go back and run the program, and now if I click on cancel, so it has closed that, it's hidden it, and it has brought me back to my menu sheet if I was away at some other sheet level.
So basically, hiding means that the prompt that was showing as a message box goes away, and the next action is to throw back to the Genpack menu sheet.
Correct. Correct. Okay. All right. So we'll stick to this. Tomorrow we'll continue. I said 2 classes, Vinay, but I don't think so. It's 2 classes. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little faster, but again, validation will take also a lot of time. So let's see. Let's see. We'll might do 10-15 minutes extra in every session, if you guys don't mind.
Ishani, that the end word in every coding, that is initializing and terminate. What does
These
it
are
refer?
events. These are events. Remember, we did worksheet event and workbook events.
Yes, yes.
Like there was workbook underscore open. So when did that? This helps us to understand when will this event occur.
So are we controlling this, or these are default coming by clicking on this?
This is default events of Excel.
Okay, so
But
there is no
what
control of it.
control, as in it is telling you, okay, if you're clicking on it, what should happen? That's what should happen. You are only going to write, right? You are only controlling everything. So these are just pre-made, kind of a pre-made forms for you. Now your information has to be yours. Is just
No,
a
I just want
template
to ask
created.
that in the last code we mention as a cancel click, and above that we use that user form underscore terminate, and above that is initialize. So this, the difference between these last word, that the difference I'm not getting.
See, when I, again, let me, it's just you guys have already done this part, so I don't know why you're confused, but think about it. When I go over here and I'm deleting a sheet, what am I doing? Deleting, correct? So what are events? Events are going to happen based on your actions in Excel, correct? So what are your actions? You're pressing a command button, that is an action. So you're clicking on it. You're clicking on the cross, you're terminating it. When you're loading it or showing it, then you're initializing it. So these are actions that you are performing in Excel.
Okay.
Okay, now based on that, what you want to do, you are telling. But how will Excel know that when should I do what? So these events have been created. Okay, and the last name kind of tells us as an end user that when will my code run. If I say user form underscore terminate means when I'm going to cross the user form, then this code will run.
So these events terminate and initializing are default from the Excel, but what should happen after user click on that, that will decide by us.
Correct. So that coding you are still doing.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. All right.
One last
And-
small question, Ishani.
Yes.
From where did you get those graphics? Just show me.
Which graphics?
That on the Excel user form Excel.
Oh, this
just
one?
clicking. Yeah.
Oh, you can go to insert and in insert in illustrations and icons. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll continue tomorrow. Let's see. How much we can cover. Okay. Hopefully go through this video today and catch up with the concept. I know it's little different concept because there's object, there's a code, both of them are running simultaneously. I know it can be confusing. That's why I didn't plan too much for today. I thought we will only cover till combo box, but that's fine. Let's see how much we are able to cover, okay? If you understand one or two controls, I think you will be able to work with others. I'll provide you the materials to work with the others, but at least have the basic understanding of what's going on. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll continue with the same thing. And hopefully we'll finish this command and at least do like say option button checkbox quickly. We'll see how to control them.
Yes. We are understanding it here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. You have a good day. I'll see you.
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Shani.
Thank
you so
you.
much, everyone.
Have a nice
Thank
day,
you.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sunny.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.